33 people recover. Southwest Garo Hills, we've seen 88 people recover. West Garo Hills, we've seen 85 people recover. And Ribhoi, we have seen 69 people recover. Apart from that, other districts also have recovered, but the numbers are slightly lesser. We have lost 18 precious lives in the last 24 hours. Out of them, 9 have been from East Khasi Hills, 4 from West Jayante Hills, 2 from West Garo Hills, 1 from Ribhoi, 1 from Southwest Garo Hills, and 1 from West Khasi Hills. Apart from that, the active ratio as of now in the state stands at 16.19%, and the recovery ratio stands at 82.1%, and the fatality ratio is at 1.7%. Another very important information which I would like to provide is that out of the 6,110 active cases in the state, 2,119 are between the age of 15 and 29, and 1,781 are between the age of 30 and 44, which means approximately 4,000 cases, that is 80% of the cases, almost 70%, I'm sorry, 75% of the cases are between the age of 15 and 45. Our positivity ratio has also seen a marginal decline in the past few weeks, as we've seen number of cases go down, testing remaining the same or going up in certain cases. The positivity ratio is down from 16.64% to 12% as of now. I will not go into detailed breakup of all the other numbers. There are too many numbers here, but that will just give a gist of the numbers that we have. But I would also like to mention that there are approximately 628 people who are in hospitals as we speak. Out of these 628 people, 102 are in D category, which is the highest category, which means they are in the ICU or under high oxygen flow. Then we have the C category, which is slightly lesser complications. We have 227 people. And A and B are mild symptoms or asymptomatic. We have 115 in A category and 184 in B category. So total of 628 people as we speak are in different hospitals in different conditions. In the meeting today, we took a review of not just the overall situation that's there in terms of COVID cases, but also in terms of the different infrastructures that are coming up, especially the oxygen plants that are coming up in different districts and different district hospitals. The ACS in charge of these projects and implementation, who's overlooking the implementation, gave us a detailed presentation. We are very satisfied with the way the work is going forward. And I don't have a detailed presentation in front of me, but in the next few days, we will see 3-4 plants completed. And we're hopeful that within the next 2 weeks to maximum 3 weeks, not just the plants, but even the cryogenic plants that are supposed to come up in Umsauli and in Jingjal should also be up. Work is going on 24/7, and all the concerned contractors and officials are leaving no stone unturned to ensure that these plants come up ASAP. Many are already functional, as you know, but our target is to make all the districts functional and have their oxygen plants, as has also been planned by Government of India. Vaccination drive also is going on. Of course, as you know, we have shortage of oxygen, we have shortage of vaccine, as it is in the rest of the country also. But we are expecting another 66,000 doses for the 18 to 45 age category in the next 5 to 6 days time. We have already made the payments for those. So those will also be rolled out in a systematic manner. Similarly, we have close to 71,000 doses for the 45 plus category. And both the vaccination programs are going on, though because of the shortage of the vaccination, we are not able to provide all the vaccines to everybody as per the requirement and desire of the people. Apart from that, the cabinet colleagues and the officials and some of the deputy commissioners, we were together to review the situation that we have seen in the last few weeks and months. After reviewing the entire situation, we have seen that the number of cases, especially in high zones like East Khasi Hills, have come down by a significant number. We have also seen the positivity rate decline. But as I was mentioning earlier, yesterday, that though the numbers are coming down, the positivity rate still remains at a double digit, which is a matter of concern. So though we are seeing a trend that is showing some kind of a relief and indicating to some kind of an improvement in the overall situation, we are nowhere close to letting our guards down or taking things easy. So therefore, though it has been very difficult for the people of the state, especially for Shillong and East Khasi Hills, the cabinet and the government has decided that we'll continue the lockdown for at least 1 week more. I know that a lot of people will face difficulties and challenges, but the health aspect is far more important to each and every one of us. As I speak, as I said, 104 people are fighting for their lives in different hospitals. And today itself, we have lost so many precious lives. So therefore, though it's a very tough decision, I urge and appeal to the people to please cooperate and work together with the government so that we are once and for all able to bring things under complete control. Things are improving. I'm positive that in the coming week, after this next 1 week is over, we should be able to see things ease down a bit more. Early to say, but looks like if we can control things in the next 1 week, if we all work together, if we're all committed, and we all simply bear this next 1 week, I'm sure that in the coming week after that, we should be able to see things improving drastically. But in the meantime, in the next 1 week, we have allowed, or we are allowing the deputy commissioners to open up economic activities on a need basis. So therefore, if the deputy commissioners feel that certain sectors can be opened or need to be opened up, certain activities can and need to be opened up, which will not give a huge risk in terms of gathering, we are allowing the deputy commissioners the liberty to allow those need-based activities to be opened up even in the coming week, apart from the other activities which we have already opened up in this current week. Number two, we have also allowed the subdivision and the block officials, that is the BDOs and the SDOs, also to recommend to the deputy commissioner to allow rural activities, rural economic activities, depending on the prevalence. We realize that though the numbers are high, there are many areas which don't have very high numbers. There are areas which can have certain economic activities, but no gatherings, but can have economic activities which may be very important for the livelihood of the people, but may not have the kind of uh, uh, effect on the spread of the virus. So those activities also, especially in the rural areas where the livelihoods have been hit very hard, we have given the permission to the Deputy Commissioner to take recommendations from the SDOs and BDOs, and on the prevalence basis of the virus, the DCs can allow other economic activities also in the rural areas. This time, the order is not just for East Khasi Hills. We have decided that this order will be in general for the entire state. We have seen that the spread of the virus is now shifting towards the rural districts. We have seen a large number of cases now coming up, especially in West Jaintia Hills, East Jaintia Hills, West Karo Hills, and some parts of Southwest Karo Hills also. So therefore, keeping this in mind, this may be the appropriate time to take actions to restrict the spread of the virus. But as we are allowing the DC to handle the situation from a ground level here in the East Khasi Hills, similar flexibility will be given to all the deputy commissioners to take their decision in terms of the economic activities in the different districts based on the prevalence rates in those areas also. We also got a special request from certain church leaders that if they could be allowed to ring the bells in the church. So therefore, government has decided that such activities for all faiths, not just for the churches, but for all faiths, which do not involve people's gathering, does not involve a large crowd, these activities will be allowed. So those were the main decisions that we had to take. But I do appeal once again to the people that it has been a very tough time. We are almost there. And if we can hold on for another week, I'm sure that we will see things improve much further. We are seeing that the numbers are down, but just because the curve is coming down doesn't mean we're out of danger yet. So coming down is a very good thing, but we need to see that we are below a certain level, below the danger mark, and only then can we allow the unlocking process to start. So we will be watching this week, and we are very hopeful that if we are able to contain things and bring the numbers down further, then we may see in the next week after that, we may see some process or some sign of unlocking starting after that. But it all depends on the numbers. Therefore, I urge all our citizens to please bear, please cooperate, please follow the protocols. This is the best way to keep our people, our friends, our family, our loved ones safe, and ensure that we are able to come back to normalcy very soon. Thank you very much.
So
Yeah, so it's basically from Monday to Monday, so it's from till the 14th. I'll just confirm the exact date for you. Just see the calendar. Yeah, 14th morning. Yes, because as I said, numbers are going up. But as I said, we have allowed the flexibility to the different districts to allow the economic activities as they feel appropriate, depending on the prevalence of the virus out there. So it's going to be a model where we continue the lockdown, but we will be allowing the deputy commissioners flexibility depending on, as I said, prevalence, because there are a large number of areas where the cases are not there at all. So it would be unfair to have the same yardstick applied throughout the state, and therefore the SDOs, BDOs, and the deputy commissioners will be in a better position to decide which activities and areas can be allowed in their district or in their blocks or in the subdivisions.
Last time, the review meeting have decided that there will be an assistant from this chief minister, a special assistant to those people who were staying in the isolation at home.
Yes.
In other
we have been giving provision kits.
In other districts have been started, but what is the reason that in East Khasi Hills it seems that it has not been started?
The provision kits have been given to all the districts. I mean, we are not giving the provision kits; we are giving the funds to them. And the deputy commissioners are providing. I'm pretty sure, I don't have the reports with me, but as far as the reports that have come to me from almost all the districts, the provision kits are being provided. So I don't know if there's a specific case, please do let me know. And if there is a situation where it's not being provided, I will take it up with deputy commissioner. But it has been already given, funds have already been sent. And if there's any delay, I'll make sure that it is moved fast. But it's been given to all the districts.
See, in other district they have started.
I'll find it out.
Yeah, but East Khasil there is a
Sure.
delay. So there is a
Sure, I'll find out and I'll make sure that if it's not happening, it should have happened. If it's not happening, I'll make sure that it happens at the earliest. Well, we know that this particular virus strain is much more stronger, and it's a strain that leads to the inflammation in the lungs, and it's an adaptive, virus, the Delta virus, as they're calling it. So therefore, we are seeing a large amount of, lives being lost, and it's a trend that's happening. And the way we are seeing things happening in other parts of the country, even after the number of cases come down, those people who were infected 5, 6, 7 days, 10 days back, and who are in hospital, those people who succumb to the ailment happens after a few days. So therefore, that trend is being seen not just in Meghalaya, it's being seen all over the country, where, as I said, the main reason is the natural cycle of the way the virus is. So therefore, once it hits a person, it takes about anything between 5 days to 7 days, and then suddenly the patient gets very serious. So though our numbers started coming down 5 days back, but those patients who were there before that, they are now in that critical zone of those 6th day and 7th days. So it's a natural cycle of the virus, the way it works. And as I said, it's not just in Meghalaya, we've seen this kind of a cycle in trend throughout the country. I'm hopeful that in the next few days, we will see a decline in the cases, but may not happen immediately. But we will naturally see the cases go down. It happened in Delhi, it happened in Bombay. In most of the states, the same situation happened. So as I said, it's a natural cycle of the way the virus is. But the main reason is, of course, as I said, this virus is much more potent, it's much more dangerous. And that's why we've seen so many people lost their lives. Another thing is, of course, we are trying to provide vaccination is a very important aspect. We have seen in all different data that's coming in that vaccination has helped. And we are seeing that in a lot of areas where quick vaccination took place, like places like, say, in William Nagar and Rongjeng and Tura, they were they have achieved saturation of the 45 plus category. So we're seeing that the vaccination has helped to a large extent. So all these factors are also there. But yes, it's a natural cycle of the virus. So we hope that these numbers we will see come down. But as I said, even today, there are about 100 plus people in D category. That means they're in ICU or in very serious condition. So we hope and pray that they do recover.
So I have a question.
Just one by one, please.
Are you done?
Yes, vaccine hesitancy is still there. There's no doubt about it. And that's why we're appealing to people that they should not be hesitant. Most people have taken it. There has been no bad reaction to it. But on the other hand, it has helped almost everybody who has taken the vaccine. Yeah.
So I have a question. There is a suggestion that has come from the opposition Congress, where they have suggested the government on the need to have this universal vaccination, citing that in order to protect children, especially from the third wave, which is they apprehend that it will affect children more. What is the take of the government on this?
The vaccination policies have been decided by Government of India. Therefore, as of now, Government of India's policy is clear that they have first started with the 45 plus category, and now this is the 18 and 45 category. So we will have to wait. But obviously, it's something that a lot of countries are doing. They're not going for universal as such, but they're going for 12 plus. So a lot of nations have done 12 to 18 also. So therefore, I'm sure that time will come when Government of India also will take up that policy. But till then, obviously, we have to go with the directions of Government of India. And it's a very positive suggestion, and we all are obviously aware of it. And I'm sure that Government of India at the appropriate time will take the decision also. There is a shortage, so those factors also come in. So we're hopeful that at least we should finish the 18 to 45 category, which is about 15 lakh people in our state. And that's really the target that we're keeping in front of us. And yes, if the Government of India allows and the supply is there, then definitely a universal program would be something that we would be happy to do.
Sir, what is the right, that what about how is the stability
You see, there's, of course, we don't know what's going to happen, whether we will be hit by third wave or not. We can't say right now, but all indications, keeping the history of pandemics in mind, we have seen that there are multiple waves. So, as a government, we need to be prepared for it. That's number one. And we hopeful it doesn't happen, but that would not be the right strategy. We would need to prepare. There are two, three things which the government is working on. Number one, we're working on a COVID manual. What we've realized is that the cabinet and the officials and the ministers, we all spend a lot of time in discussing a lot of steps which need to be taken when situations unfold. Many countries, for different scenarios and situations, have a standard manual or a standard SOP as to what steps to be taken when. For example, when we touch a positivity rate of 10%, immediately there should be certain kind of restrictions that should come in. What those restrictions should be, what should be closed, what should be open. We realize in both the phases of both these waves, the government had to monitor each and every movement up to the micro level. So we feel that if we come up with a strong standard operating procedures, a strong manual as to what should be done at what point in time, when should the Corona care centers be activated, when should the volunteers be activated, when should the lockdowns happen, when should the containments happen, where it should happen, it will be easier for the government and the system and the machinery and administration to work. So in preparation of the third wave, first thing we're going to be doing is coming out with this manual SOP. We have asked the department in 30 days to give us a draft copy of this manual. We feel that it will strongly help us in fighting another situation as and when it comes in. At least it'll allow quick decision making based on situations. Number two, yes, there is a kind of a theory that the third wave may hit children because of the fact that we're seeing the virus mutate every time. So earlier it was hitting the people who are 45, 50, 60 and above. And it mutated and it suddenly started hitting the people who are 18, 20, 30. So there is a prediction that now it will mutate again and it will go in deeper into children who are slightly more stronger in terms of immunity because of different factors they're growing. So yes, there is a chance of that happening. And obviously the infrastructure requirement when it comes to children, especially when it comes to ICUs and all, is very different. So the kind of masks that they put on there, the kind of machines that are put in there. So all these factors obviously are being looked into. So we are going to be focusing on all these aspects, but the basic infrastructures like oxygen plants in all the districts, in all the hospitals are something that will be common to all. So only the adjustment in terms of the few of the machines that will be required will be something that we need to work on. So all these factors are being examined, and definitely it's something that we are already working on. And we are we're still fighting the second wave. So obviously we have not been able to go into the actual preparation for the third wave, but the planning for that has already started, as I said, started with the basic manual that I'm talking about. And then it was gone into the different kind of equipments that may be required. And we realized that whatever happens, the oxygen plants, the cryogenic plants, and the different COVID hospitals that can be there are basic requirements for any kind of a situation. So only few of the equipments that are required for children may need to be put in. So all those factors are being examined. But you're right, we need to be prepared for it. Is that all?
Ask another question, maybe not.
Sure.
Suddenly yesterday, we could see that even the MLA from Jantahip, they are opposing about this privatization. So we just want to get whether it is a privatization or whether it is an outsourcing.
Yeah. So let me explain the entire process so that you are clear and obviously the citizens also are clear. Now, we had a large amount of dues from NIPCO and NTPC and other agencies which have built up in the last many years. And that amount came up along with the charges, such charges to approximately 1,300 crores plus. Now, just to give a comparative analysis to everyone, the second highest state in terms of NTPC, Meghalaya owed about 500 crores to NTPC. The second highest state was Manipur, which was 70 crores. And all the other states in the Northeast were below that. The total amount of dues from other states also to these large companies, generation companies, was within the range of 20, 50 to about 100 crores. Whereas Meghalaya's total dues, along with surcharges, was 1,340 crores. So we had an exceptionally high outstanding to many companies outside, generation companies. Therefore, the government decided that we'll take the Atmanirbhar loan. Now, when we took the Atmanirbhar loan, the REC released the first tranche to us of the 50% and the PFC. For the second tranche, looking at the exceptionally high amount that is due to these different companies and the fact that the loan amount is going to be large, the REC and the PFC required the government of Meghalaya to give a guarantee and put a budgetary provision for the repayment for MECL in our budget, which means that if MECL is not in a position to repay the interest and the principal amount every month, then REC will be able to deduct that amount from our taxes directly from RBI. Now, REC wanted Meghalaya government to do the entire 100% of the repayment to be put in the budgetary proposal and put into the finance head so that the payments would be made to REC. Now, also I would like to clarify that why we went for this kind of a Atmanirbhar loan is because if we did not, there would be a high risk of our powers being cut all the time, which is a very troublesome aspect for all of us. So therefore, we decided that once and for all, we will repay and we'll be able to ensure that the power is stable for us. Number two reason why we went for this is because the surcharges that we pay to NTPC and NIPCO are at 18%. And today, if we take this loan, it is at half the rate, which is 9.5%. So therefore, even from the interest point of view, it made much bigger sense and savings for us to go for this rather than pay the surcharges of 18% to NIPCO and to others and NTPC. So that is why we went for the loan. Now, what is the situation we face today? Is that government, or the REC, has made that condition mandatory. The finance department strongly felt that we cannot afford to pay the entire amount of the loan repayment, which will be close to 120 crores for the first 3 years and will jump to 300 crores because the principal amount will come in after the 3 years. So therefore, finance department objected to this point. We talked to REC and said, what is the option that we have? And then the REC said that there are a lot of the circles within MECL which are having AT&C losses ranging from anything between 30% to 72% AT&C losses. Therefore, REC said, if you cannot give us the entire budgetary provision or the guarantee the entire loan amount to the state finances, then a certain percentage of these distribution franchises may be outsourced to the REC so that they will run and manage it. The finance department, the MECL and the power department objected to the DF. And they have said that the government of Meghalaya should guarantee the entire amount of 100% and put in the budgetary provision. That's a large amount. As I said, for the whole year, for 10 years, the amount will come up to 2,000 crores plus. Finance department felt that we need to ensure that the MECL also improves its overall efficiency. For many years, many circles have been running at 70%, 50%, 30% AT&C losses. So therefore, while we take this loan, while the state government is supporting MECL, at least 25% of the pressure must be on MECL. Why should Meghalaya government have to bail out MECL every time? And why can't we have a system where we improve the overall efficiency of MECL? Therefore, with that objective in mind, Finance Department suggested that 75% of the interest and the loan amount will be guaranteed by the state government, and if there's a default, state government will pay. But at least 25% of that pressure must be taken by the MECL in the form of their distribution franchises. So that was the background of how the distribution franchises came in. So it's a choice between improving the efficiency and the finance department and state government taking the entire burden of the loan that we have to pay. Now I can give you details of the numbers, but they're too much to grasp. But roughly, if the 25% of the distribution franchisee does not go to REC, that would put another 560 crores of burden on the state government. So therefore, by doing this 25%, we are able to not only improve the overall revenue collection and overall efficiency, but we are also able to save money in terms of the amount that the state government will have to give. Now, the second part is that while this happens, there is no question of any kind of people being removed from the from MECL. There is no question of any kind of laying off. There's no question of anybody losing a job. There will only be a complete revamp of the overall staff in the thing so that we can overall improve the efficiency and increase the number of manpower of people wherever is the manpower is less. So there will be no question of any layoffs in this. Number three, we have seen that when the distribution franchises are there, and especially when REC partnership is there, there will be a large amount of professionalism that will come in. And to a large extent, there will be a competition to improve the distribution franchises in the long run. So this is the background of this, where, as you said correctly, this is only a management that is being given to them. But in this management, they will also be investing because they have to guarantee a certain revenue to the state. It's not that we give it to them for free. But if we give it to them, they will have to guarantee a minimum revenue to the state. Over and above that will be their profit. But this revenue which they guarantee to us will be much higher than the collection that we are doing right now as a department. So this is the crux of the matter. This has come to the cabinet, and the cabinet will now review this entire aspect, and we will take a decision in the next 1 week whether it will be appropriate for the state government to take the entire burden of the loan and pay and bail out MECL all the time, which we've been doing quite a number of times, or do we look at a system where we allow some professionalism coming in without harming the structure of MECL, without harming the employees, but allowing an overall system to come in where we have some kind of professional aspect coming in. So therefore, this is a critical issue. The cabinet has not decided on which way to go. We will spend the next 4 or 5 days looking at all the options that are there. And only then, once we take all the stakeholders on board, once we take all the different organizations, the engineers and other officials on board, discuss with them, if we can find a way to move forward in which we are able to improve the efficiency and yet not allow the DF, we'll be happy to move forward in that line also. But if we see that, as I said, the question is about 600 for 560 crores of revenue that the government of Meghalaya will have to give additionally to bail out MECL. So this is the long story in short. But to also conclude in this is that number one, this matter has now come to the cabinet. There is no agreement that has been signed. There is no final decision that has been taken. That's number one. So we are still examining the pros and cons on how to move forward. Number two, this agreement or this discussion, if it were to go forward, is only a management contract. It's not about giving out any kind of lease or access to anybody, which, as I said again, no decision has been made. It is still pending with the state government. Number three, initially when this discussion started, MECL and the power department and the power minister has been completely against going for this DF. MECL does not want to give any of its circles. Power department and power minister, they don't want to give any of their circles for distribution franchisee. They want to run it themselves. The reason finance department has put this condition on them is how long will the Meghalaya government keep bailing them out? If we are going to bail them out for the 1,600 crores for the 75% which state government will have to pay, at least 25% of that pressure MECL must also take, must realize that they are also equal partners in this, and they must also improve their overall functioning. So this is where we are right now. And as I said, this is being done with a positive intention to improve the efficiency and revenue collection. And we're looking at all the options. So we will take a call by next week. But this is the background of this entire process right now. And today, most of the ministers have given their opinions. And the power minister also has given his opinion, saying that he himself and the department are not for it. But finance is still sticking to the point that that some kind of responsibility must be taken by the power department. Therefore, by next week, we will be taking a call on what will be the best way to move forward in this. And we'll have asked the power department to give all the options that are available with us. So I thought that it's important for the general public to know that it is not going to be something that we are rushing into. We are going to examine it properly. We're going to look into all the aspects, and then only we'll be going ahead with the decision. And that's why cabinet has sat today, and cabinet will sit again next week on Wednesday to take a final call on this.
So there is this question by those opposing what you have said has not been decided yet. But these people who have opposed have questioned the government of why it has proposed to give to lease or to outsource performing assets. Why not those non-performing assets?
Yeah. There is, we have not finally decided on which circles to go for. There are two aspects when it comes to the circles. One aspect is regarding the 25%. Now, this 25% is determined on the basis of the amount of millions of units that are infused or input into the power system. So the 25% should be the 25% of the entire input that the MECL does from a generation company. So for example, if we are inputting 1,000 million units, then 250 million units has to be given as a distribution franchise. Now, when you look at those numbers, the only way to match and come to 250 was only by looking at certain circles. So not all were coming in. Somewhere we're mixing it, it was coming to 150. Somewhere mixing it, we're coming to 200. Somewhere we're mixing it, it's coming into 300. So we had to look at the permutation combinations of which circles will be able to give us that 250 amount. So that was one part that or one factor that we had to consider while making a decision. That's number one. Number two, we also had to look at the factor of where the losses are. So, for example, a place like Shillong city and a place like Ribhoy. Now, these places are the highest earning revenue generation circles. And there are also circles where the AT&C losses are 13% and 15%, very low. So there is no question of giving it to them because there's no question of improving anything. It's already improved. It's already doing very well, and it's the highest earning circles. So obviously, based on that, we will not and cannot give, even if we decide, which we have not decided yet, even if we decide to go for a distribution franchisee, it cannot be these two circles because they are our best performing circles. And there is no need to give it to them because there's no improvement in it. Then comes to the question of other circles. So therefore, based on the permutation combinations, there are certain districts or certain circles which are at 70% AT&C losses, certain at 30%. So these 30% to 40% AT&C losses, where I think that's where we feel a distribution franchisee can come in and improve and give some kind of a overall revenue growth in the revenue of MECL and for their revenues also. So this point being made that the best circles are being given is completely wrong. In fact, it's the challenging circles which are being looked into. But since there is a restriction or there's a certain constraint in terms of the 25% which we have to meet, so the permutation combination of that is limited. So we have to see which ones we can do. Again, no decision has been made. Discussions are being done on what will be the best way to move forward. And therefore, we have, as I said, met as a cabinet, and presentation has been given, and the cabinet colleagues felt that let us sit on Wednesday, let us absorb these numbers, because what I told you just now is just 15%, 20% of all the data that was shown to the ministers, and they have understood the complexity of the situation. They've understood that both have got decisions have got plus and minus, and therefore we need to really carefully think about it and then decide on how to move forward. But one thing is clear, as I said, which I want to again repeat myself, is that there is no question of handing over any assets. There is no question of employees being affected. It's only purely a question of whether state government will bail out MECL 100%, or we will give some responsibility to them to improve themselves also. That's really the crux of the question. And the MECL prefers to hold on to their circles and not to give it. And Power Minister has expressed the same view. And it's the finance department now which was taking the call. But we have taken it to cabinet because we feel it's a broad subject. And accordingly, the cabinet will decide next week on Wednesday on which option to take. So therefore, we may go, we may not go for it.
So can we say that this is neither a privatization, neither outsourcing? It is just a mere franchisee.
It's a management, yeah. So it's a management. But as I said, again, I'm repeating, we are not yet gone for it. We are looking at the options. There is a entire situation where the financial implications are high for the state. If you don't go for this franchisee, then we will have to shell out another 560 crores in the next 10 years. And also, the MECL will not be under any obligation to neither improve nor pay, and the entire pressure will come on government of Meghalaya to bail them out. So therefore, we'll take a decision. So maybe we have asked the government and the departments to give us all the options on how to move forward, and based on what we feel will be in the best interest of the people of the state, what will be in the best interest of MECL and the government as a whole, that is the way we will move forward. And next Wednesday is when we'll take the decision. I'm sorry, I don't have the details of that. Yeah, I'm sorry, I will not have those details with me. Those are, slightly more micro details, which is more MECL oriented. Maybe you can have a word with Power Minister on that. I don't have the reply to that right now, but this subject which you have asked us now is something that we had a very long meeting today. It's a very important subject also, so that's why I felt it necessary to share the entire details and information to everybody. GHDC, when I was in Tura last time, the members of the NGEA met me, and along with the CEM, and we have discussed, we have shared all the different way forward that we could have, and expressed to them that there is a new EC now. They also want to resolve this issue. so does the NGEA, and so does the society at large, and even the state government would like to see that the issues in the district council are resolved. Now, we also explained to them that district council issues is not something that has just come up. It's been building up for a very long time. Therefore, it will not be easy to find an immediate solution to all the problems that they're facing. So therefore, the only way to move forward is to work as a team. We requested them that let's work on an understanding. We are all here together to see that council works, improves, and the issues are resolved. And based on that, they had another meeting today with the CEM. And the latest reports that have come to me is that the NGEA has agreed to resume work, and they have agreed to the terms and conditions. I don't know the details of those terms and conditions, but they have agreed to the terms and conditions that were discussed. And we are hopeful that maybe in a day or two, may not be completely tomorrow itself, but in a day or two, we should see things normalizing. And apart from that, other different options on how to support, how to see we can, obviously based on rules and how sticking to, the procedures, everything, how we could move forward in improving things in GGDC can then further be discussed and decisions can be taken. So we're hopeful that it will be resolved. And as I said, I got a call this afternoon from the CEM telling me that the NGEA meeting was positive and they have agreed to resume duty. So it may be in the next 24 hours or 48 hours. You can take a direct report from CEM. I'm not aware. If the university cannot come up like that, there has to be through a bill.
This university is being supposed to set up in Khanduli village, which is in West Angle.
I'll take up the matter with the Assam government. We'll look into it. I'm not aware about this.
No, everybody from Joint have even demanded from the state government to set up a police outpost in the border areas with Assam.
We have already. Since you've asked me about police, I just want to update all of you that state government. When I presented the budget this time, I had mentioned that we'll be spending up to approximately 100 crores to improve the different infrastructures at different outposts and thanas and battalions. A lot of them have never been changed, just like the schools. We realized that, and the blocks and the hospitals, which are basic service for the people. We realized that proper infrastructure development was not given in these areas. So you must have seen that in the last few years, and this year continuing, we are renovating the schools. This year we'll touch 200 more. We are renovating the blocks. We'll do about 20 of them. We are renovating the police stations, outposts, and battalions. So these investments will be made, and we are moving forward in really improving the infrastructure in the police thanas also. Apart from that, we've also realized that there are certain locations which need new outposts or new police stations also. And sensitive areas are there. So therefore, based on that, the Home Department has been asked to recommend areas which the outposts are required. New outposts will be required, and new police stations will be required, or new battalions will be required. And that entire study is going on. And I'm sure that the areas which you've mentioned are also there, but I have not seen the report yet. Because of COVID, we had to delay things for a few weeks. But hopefully by next week, we'll be sitting down and finalizing the list of the new locations where outposts will be required. At the same time, we'll also be finalizing the overall distribution of the budget for the improvement of the police infrastructures, which we hope that in about a month, 2 months' time, the work for those also will start. Okay? Thank you.